Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 169. We're back. Sorry about last week, everyone. I got COVID, and I was actually worried I wouldn't be able to taste anything today because I lost my taste, but only for about 3 days. But I can taste, so we can review beer.
What was the first thing that you were able to taste?
Good question. It was probably a sparkling water, flavored sparkling water.
Really dove off the deep end there.
I finally found one that I liked.
Oh yeah, which one do you like? Because sparkling, I've in my fridge right now. There's 5 different kinds of sparkling water. No shit.
I think this is the best one I've found. It's the most flavorful. Clear American.
Clear.
I'm pretty sure it's like Walmart brand.
Yeah, because that's a playoff. Clearly Canadian.
Well, it's delicious.
Clearly Canadian was early to the game. I remember them as kids. They had the glass bottles. Everything came in glass bottles when we were kids, but Gatorade was always the big thing. So that was a hard transition for me when Gatorade transferred from the glass bottles to the plastic bottles.
Yeah, I wonder if that coincides with when it was bought, or the licensing was bought. But
just probably shipping and everything. You can ship more plastic bottles and less environmentally. Now I think we're slowly rotating back to glass bottles, and we're starting to see that a little bit more. I mean, beer never really came in anything plastic. There's a few. I think I've had some Mickeys in plastic bottles. That. I've had some
shelf.
Bud Ice in plastic.
Ooh, yeah, I've had plastic. Mostly at venues.
Yeah, it's definitely a venue thing, right?
A venue thing, yeah.
Because you can reseal it and hurl it.
That's right. Yeah, and they have the resealable aluminum too.
Yep.
I forgot what I was going to say. So it was in relation to bottles.
Bottles. I do have something. I know we were talking about doing beer news right away, and I know you had something. I had a couple of things, but I'm going to cut it short. The one is I just want your reaction.
Okay.
So here's your first reaction. So Untappd sent me the top beer cities in the world. This is delineated by how many venues were checked in, not separate venues, but let's say JT and I went to King's Table and we were checking in our beers. This is how many times a venue's been checked in. Not a lot of people do it, so these are skewed. I'm surprised by how low these numbers are. But you've got mostly the United States. That's not surprised. You've got the UK. You've got Denmark, also from the world stage. But are you surprised? What's your immediate reaction?
Yeah, as someone who deals with data, this is not normalized by population, and you could see that from the ranking. Chicago having the highest population of any other city on there. It would be.
That's
an exception if New York and LA were on there.
London is more populous than Chicago.
Oh, London. You know what? Don't even know the population of London. I was thinking US. And I don't know how many people are in Copenhagen.
Yep, Copenhagen. That's
Copenhagen.
that's just how in Denmark it's pronounced.
Oh, okay. But my initial here, if I could do my own, Asheville won of this list. I think that if you take Dayton and Cincinnati and make them one metropolitan area, you might actually make this list. And it would be it'd be top 5, I think, at least from the beer cities I've been to. Asheville 1, San Diego 2, never been to Seattle. I'm going to say London 3, but I've never been there either. Denver, and then the rest. Pittsburgh, I don't think is a great beer city.
And again, that's it. Yeah. So if we're just going by beer city and what we associate it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I've had all the Amstel and Heineken that I would ever want in my life, and that's what I associate with Copenhagen. So that would be at the bottom. London, I don't think we're going to get the dirge of beers that we'd like to drink. So that would be number 2. But, I would have to say Asheville, Seattle, San Diego would be fighting for that top place for me.
Yeah, same here. Chicago, the density places to check into is probably super high. They should have done this. There could be so much more work here. They need to take a page out of Pornhub's book and do these yearly, like really dig into this data and do some real analysis here, because this isn't going to cut it.
Yeah. So again, this number here. So JT and I kind of extrapolated a little bit on this. This number here is we go to a bar and we check in that bar, and so I've done the math. It would only take me 220,642 more check-ins of the church room bar to get Dayton just by myself.
Well,
so
let's do
it. It's something to work on. But we could save the other stuff. It just gives us more.
You could do it.
Well, it gives us material. So here's another article that I found interesting at hopculture.com, because it was talking about the most populous beer that was checked in this last year for 2021 on Untappd was American IPA. So it went into that sub genre, not just IPAs, because there's so many genres. But it was interesting here because this delineates it by 2 years, a year ago and the last year. Mm-hmm. So it says that American IPAs on the decline, but still, and we're saying a percentage down by growth, but still the most checked in beer on Untappd was still American IPAs. Where you've seen growth in hazies, and then Imperials are catching up. So Imperials, anything over a DIPA. Sessions, which I definitely had mine of Sessions. Fruit IPAs on the downswing, unfortunately. But what I do like, and I have bought it, is IPA mixes. And that's my question for you. Are you more apt to buy a 12-pack of Truth, or this last year, Truth did the IPA sampler pack, where it was the only way? What's the beer that you could get? It was 3 cans of each, and it was the only way that you could get their session IPA. What was the name of that? God, I should have wrote it down. But these questions come up organically. Yeah. I'll lead it off. I am more apt to buy a mix pack most of the time. If I'm going into like the 12-pack realm. If I'm buying a 6-pack, I'm not building my own 6-pack. I'm just going to buy multiple 6-packs. If I'm buying a 12-pack or more of a craft brew, I'm looking for more mix packs.
Okay, I used to be excited about the build your own 6-pack, but I no longer really do that unless I'm at Kroger, because their beer selection is so crappy. And the stuff they have in 6-packs and 12-packs are the common stuff. So at Kroger, I build my own 6-pack. Everywhere else, I'm usually buying a 4-pack. I wish you could build your own 4-pack at actual beer stores. I'd do that more, but I don't really buy mixed packs. I thought maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was Cobra. Someone hates the mixed packs.
Now, I'm not saying build your own 6-pack. I'm saying like the actual pre-packaged designed.
Pre-packaged.
Yeah.
When I was in Cuba, that was the only way you could get an IPA.
And they broke it down so it would be like an IPA mixed with a bunch of random other stuff, eh?
It would be brewery. It would still be by brewery.
Yeah.
But however they got the shipments in, it was all AFES and NEX packaging. So however they worked out the distribution, it would and it would be random. It would be you'd have either an IPA and then 2 pieces of shit, or you'd have 3 great beers, whatever. And so you'd have all these people, all of these contractors, because the contractors got full-size refrigerators.
Yeah.
And they'd have like 6 to 12 beers they would never drink, and then that 6 to 12 would double every time they bought one of those, because they came in 24 packs. You could buy them in 24 packs. So they would have all this wasted beer when they'd leave. Vision
was the name of the Rheingeist that I had to look up.
Oh yeah, Vision. Yeah,
Vision.
That's right.
Vision, yeah. But Mathlete was the locale one. Vision was the West Coast. But anyways, that they called it the hot box. I hope they bring that back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Every beer was a home run. And so since we're on the subject of packs, more random packs, beer stores and like liquor stores. Like if you break up, like, we've talked about Mystery Cooler of Death, but if you break up like good stuff and you can't sell them, I know they just put them as singles, but as a fun gimmick, I don't know, maybe there's a reason they don't do it. I wish I could just go like I did, and I sent you guys a picture during the holiday season. I wish I could just buy random boxes of beer. I would do it all the time. It's an amazing gimmick. They're not losing out money because I lost out on money, but it was exciting opening up that box and getting like all of those treats in there. So I ended up leaving most of that box at my in-laws, but it was fun because for Christmas there was some family members over, and we just opened up the box, and it was just like, hey, just take whatever you want. Who cares? And then the final article was the 12 best American IPAs by rating, by at least 1,000 ratings. And again, sorry, this is a visual podcast as we're doing this during Hey Chuggalos. My takeaway from this, and they're going to be my most sought after beer for the year, because I see them all the time on craft beer, is Treehouse Brewing. They're out of Massachusetts, and it seems like every third post on Craft Beer Geeks or Craft Beer Aficionados or whatever you want to call it now, they just changed the name on Facebook. It's about Treehouse Brewing and going there, and they do IPAs and they do fruited beers very, very, very well. So the only other beer that I've had, 49th State Brewing is on there. I don't know anything about them, but I would hypothesize they're out of Alaska. And then the Alchemist had Heady Topper, Focal Bangers, like, it's a big like Pliny the Elder versus Pliny the Younger. It's like that kind of battle. And then Trillium I've heard of before. So anyways, Trillium. Something, all of these are ones I want to check out. But definitely Treehouse, because I've heard so much about Treehouse. But that's all I got. Those are my rundowns from Untappd. Those were all of my Untappd tipped off. So I'm going to stop sharing. Boom.
Cool. I was I was digging through Beer Aficionado's website. I'd never been there. And I guess that's the site that does a lot with the sommelier is the beer one, right?
Sommelier is wine.
What's the
Cicerone? Cicerone is beer.
So I was looking at the Cicerone stuff, and they give you some sample tests, and I was just seeing if I would know any of them. And it's too difficult. I just want to taste the beer and see if I know the notes. I didn't know that first you have to do the waiter one, the server, and there's like a shitload of information in that. Then you can get to the actual beer profiles. I didn't know that until I went to that website. But they have some beer rankings on there. They're very detailed, which I appreciate, but they're not a lot for a Beer Aficionado website. I thought there'd be way more. But they had some Treehouse on there, and it sparked my interest. I'd not heard of it before. And however the algorithm on Facebook's working, I don't get a lot of the beer geeks come across my feed anymore. I need to sort by time instead of whatever their shit is. So I have some news.
Just log into Facebook. My first post is the Craft Beer Community. Sorry, that's what they changed their name to. Craft Beer Community.
I could probably share. I'm not sure if it helps to share, but I'll share. Screen share. Let's do the where is it? Start sharing. All right. So can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Forbes? All right. So this article is actually about sticker shock and all of the various price hikes.
Oh yeah, canarchy. Yes.
But I got to this paragraph here in the article, and it talked about a lot of things, and I didn't realize how much activity there's been in the beer industry.
Yep.
Man. Okay. So Monster acquired Canarchy.
Yep.
And Canarchy, they have, and I have the list here. It's a collective, and they have Wild Basin, Oscar Blues, Cigar City, Wasatch. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Nope. Wasatch. Yep.
Squatters, Perrin, and Deep Ellum Brewing. And so that's a lot of, there's a few big names in there. Acquired by Monster. And again, this article was about how cans are becoming more expensive. And I want the discussion I wanted to have around this article was, are beers at the right price point? But I do want to run through this real quick. Constellation Brand was rumored to be teaming with them, which would have been huge. But then, oh yeah, here it is. Fresca Mixed is coming out.
We have Fresca in the fridge right now.
You're a Fresca person, yeah. I knew you'd like that. And then Coke and Molson teamed up for this Topo Chico, which I think I saw a commercial for the other day. And Pepsi is going to release a Rockstar Energy, but they also own Mountain Dew. So it's weird to see Boston Brew Company. Oh, they've collaborated with them to do Hard Mountain Dew, which we talked about on a prior episode.
Yep.
So my question about this, I just wanted to point those things out because there's so much activity. But so cans are getting more expensive, and this Forbes article talks about sticker shock and prices rising. I don't know that there's a ton of room in craft beer for prices to be rising. I know I'm the cheap one, as we discussed. I see the $25 4-pack, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. But when it's $25 at Pat's, I consider it because he's got good beer. And what I mean, I call it Pat's now. I've completely forgotten what it's called. Hall's Corner Market.
Hall's.
Yeah, Hall's.
It's Pat's.
It's Pat's. I think that the price point we're at, where it's like $10 is your average or big brewer, widely distributed beer. $15 is for your kind of well distributed but more expensive to make beer, and then $20 you're starting to hit for a 4-pack of pints. You're starting to hit an area where you're either buying a premium stout or you're just crazy. I don't know that we have much room to go up from there.
So the interesting thing that you're not seeing here is in this article is that Coke owns 18% of Monster already, and there's been rumors that they're just going to buy it all up. So, which would be interesting. It would just they already dominate the work or the drink environment, but then if they go after arguably the number one energy drink by volume, I'm still a Red Bull guy, but I won't turn down a Monster. Okay, so back to the cost of things. Everything is going up, where I always say with like the $24 4-pack, when you go out and you go to King's Table or something like that, you're going to spend $6 and $7 at a beer anyways. Mm-hmm. So and then are you paying for the ambiance or whatever? So that's why it hurts me too. I grimace a little bit, but I'm like, that's what I'm going to pay at home. So I totally understand what you're saying, because I think they're going to try butting up. I think once we hit that $30 mark for a 4-pack or something like that, that's when people are going to start.
Yeah.
Because you already spend that much for singles. We both have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But when you're going something that's not as specialized or whatever, then there's room. I think we're close. Are we up against that glass ceiling yet? I don't know. I know their marketing teams are a lot smarter than I am, and we'll figure out what that point is. Yeah. And then, fleece us for everything that we're worth.
I'll say if it's a well curated collection. Yeah. Like there's two places I know that the beer person takes pride in the beer they sell. It's Pat's and Crispy Crunchy Shell. I've talked to both of the people who curate those beer selections, and they're both super proud of what they have. But then there's places like Arrow and Belmont Party Supply. I would not buy a beer for $30 there. Yeah. Just because I think my mindset would be, I'm not going to like this beer, or this is a beer that is $30 for reasons that I can't predict. Whereas at Hall's or Crispy Crunchy Shell, I feel like that price point is probably that way for a reason. Yeah. At least that's my opinion. And the other article I have here, it's not really an article. It was an article, but it was a paid article. So I actually found this PDF file of the court case. I thought it was interesting. This guy's an airline pilot, and he had been diagnosed with alcohol dependence. And as part of that, he had to test for alcohol in his blood. And he ate a sandwich that I believe was marinated or prepared in beer in some way and failed the test, and the FAA was like, "No, you're done," and he didn't know apparently.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's even a conversation around this. I think it's kind of fucked up. The article that I found this in was talking about how the FAA provided a denial and no explanation of why they made their decision.
Well,
I think at least they need to provide an explanation.
We're both fans of wrestling, and when Razor Ramon was taking his alcohol, I forget what the pill is, but if you come in contact with alcohol, you make yourself violently ill. Oh. Well, in the build up to WrestleMania 18, he was in a angle with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they had him tied up, and they were dumping beer on him, not knowing that he was on that, so he was actually, you were seeing it in real time, like his violent reactions, because again, like if alcohol hits your lips, awesome. I don't know but it's what they give to like people that are really dependent on alcohol. So that stuff is out there. The article that you shared, it reminds me, what's that Denzel Washington movie where it, like they go inverted in the passenger jet? I
have no idea. I didn't see that one.
Oh gosh. But, yeah, and that's something you can't fuck around with, is FAA and regulations.
Oh yeah, you want your pilots to be sober for sure. But in this case, I don't know, food. It's a different story. All right, yeah. That's all the news I had.
And that's the news.
All right, you ready to drink some beer?
Yes.
All right, let me grab one of them.
Well, he's grabbing the beer, and I love that he's got his fridge right next to him. I'm just going to mention while we do this, Warped Wing is opening their third location in this metropolitan area. Yeah, down in Mason, Ohio. So they're just on the north side of Cincy. So they're going to have 3 right on the corridor here, as soon as February 4th. It looks like a great location, and it's awesome to see that a Dayton owned is their third location.
Wow.
And just double that time in years that they've been open. So that's awesome for them.
Yeah, that is awesome. There was just speaking of local brewers, there was an article. I have to find it because Caterade showed it to me. I forgot to have her email it to me. But Branch and Bone is making some national lists for 2021.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Man, fantastic to see Dayton rising above. All right, you got them both, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's start with the llama.
War llama.
Yep. War llama. So let's crack it and then we'll talk about it. 3, 2, 1. All right. This is from Miss Billion River. This is probably going to wreck the palate, but it is a flavored electrolyte infused sour beer. Go ahead.
I wasn't ready, but
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
What's the content on it? The alcohol content.
The alcohol content is.
I didn't look, so believe me, when I took that look, if you rewind it, that was surprised.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were both IPAs, just looking at the can. So
5%. So the reason why I bought this is because it literally says on the can right there. It tells you what is it. War Llama is green, tart, and refreshing. I was like, hell yeah, that sounds like a beer I want to drink. The only other green beer I've had, and I haven't had the green beer.
So it's a green port?
Ireland or
it's
Chicago
pale.
has some green beers. It was the only other green beer I had was the Ecto Slimer. They couldn't call it Ecto Cooler. I think it was at Nowhere in Particular, which actually is the next brewer we're going to review. Nowhere in Particular had an Ecto Slimer for their 1 year anniversary of opening a brick and mortar, which coincidentally has never been open outside of a pandemic. They opened in, I believe, March of 2020.
That is
green.
Super pale.
Very pale.
Very pale. It's incredible how pale that is. Green, like almost like a Miller Lite, just with like a, not because food coloring will green the beer, but pickle juice almost in color, not in taste.
So I don't know what flavors this is supposed to have. So we'll just be able to explore that with our palates. But Mispillion's out of Delaware. And when I was sick last week, I watched the show Dave on FX. Well, it's on Hulu. There's in the second season, Dave releases his debut album. It's a show about a rapper. It's funny. It's a pretty funny show. And apparently it's flopping because Ariana Grande released an album the same day, but apparently he was huge in Delaware. So it was this kind of running joke throughout the second season. But yeah, War Llama, it's a sour, electrolyte infused, and that's it, Mispillion.
So that just goes. So JT and I actually kind of pre-produced. JT brought these beers over, like it seems like a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, I'm going to decide what we're going to do the last times we recorded. And it just worked out, today for doing this virtually. I thought these sat in my fridge. I didn't look at them. I thought it was an IPA. I was like, okay, we're going to do like with the nip and this beer. I thought we had done one of these before. So I would have bet dollars to donuts that we have done Mispillion River. And I thought it was an Ohio brewer. So I've just surprisement all around for sure.
We have not done a Mispillion River brewery. I feel like this logo, I've seen it many times. In my regular life. That's
where like the familiarity to me carried over. I thought it was in Ohio. I thought I've seen a lot, but yeah, I keep doing a Control F on the spreadsheet over here and I can't find it.
I'm kind of thinking it's like that mother. What's that mother one in Ohio? Something.
Oh, the one in Springfield.
Yeah, it's like I see this brewery stickers everywhere.
Mother Stewart,
and I never have had the beer. I think, except for maybe at Ale Fest, and I never see the beer, never hear about the brewery. But hey, they're doing good at getting their name out because there are stickers everywhere.
I was looking at that that Warped Wing while we were talking about this, that Warped Wing location. It's a fantastic location too. It's right off of 75. So it just makes it, it's a block away from another brewery. So anyways, this, I'm already done with this. This is refreshing. I just got done working out here about an hour ago. So electrolyte, that's probably what my body needs, or at least what they tell me that I need.
It craves. That's what it craves.
I don't taste the booze. Shouldn't be too surprising at 5%. This would be great. Like if you're going to be involved in a couple of day of drinking event or whatever, this would be a great morning crack to rehydrate and keep going. I'm down with this gimmick. I want to know more about War Llama. I just think that it's like butthole pleasures when I say it. I just laugh. So War Llama is definitely right up there. Just incredible imagery that it puts in my fantasy like brain. Off the top rope, I don't think you could do this any better. 4.5. I love this.
Yep.
This is fantastic.
And
I'm done.
So I did a quick Google search because I hadn't thought to do it on the term War Llama, and I was thinking maybe this is some sort of Roman thing. I'm not seeing that, so ignore that.
Some sort of
it seems like something maybe the Romans would have had, a War Llama.
Well, I know alpacas were South America. I don't know where llamas originated.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know either. But
this is delightful. I'm gonna have to find this. This is fantastic.
Are llamas traditionally aggressive? Or is it because they're not aggressive that this name is funny?
So with llamas, you have to saw off their one set of their teeth because they'll bite each other's balls off to keep them from mating. So llamas can be assholes.
The animal kingdom is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's not so much the animal.
Boom, llamas, South American. They're also with alpacas.
South America? Okay.
Yep.
So it's not so much the animal as it is the war that sticks out for Mispillion. I'm on their website now, I love. War badger, war goose, war llama, war possum, are 4 of the beers they currently have. Oh, they
That's
also
awesome.
they have a Dank Lord, but not a Dark Lord, because you can't just take it.
What a fucking sweet gimmick.
Man, their can art is bonkers on all these beers. So if you go to their website, which I'm not saying you need to, but the listener, if you go to the website, they have the can art right there displayed, which I love. So here's the can art bonus segment brought to you by, at this point, I guess it's still Frank. Is it?
I would never be able to. I couldn't.
We'd have to go back several episodes. I think it's still my nephew. The can art bonus segment brought to you by Frank. War Llama. So it's a full end-to-end sticker printed with something printed with the picture, the design. In the background, it's like these trees that make up. They're all some shade of green, and they make up kind of this paisley style of art, and then in the center here, like it's almost like it's a dollar bill. There's this llama in an oval. He's got a headband on, like Matt, but he's also got the. Now I'm not a horse rider, horse driver, or any whatever
horse
that
driver
thing is. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah.
The thing when you're in a carriage and you are the person that's holding the reins, aren't you the horse driver?
The carriageman.
Are you the carriageman? I should know that. I have a carriage house. The thing that's in this llama's mouth would be the control mechanism for the
bite.
The carriageman. Yeah, the bite. That's what that's called. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so this llama has his bottom teeth. Apparently his top teeth were taken. I'm not sure what's common, if it's the bottom or the top, but in this case it was that. He's got a wide eye, very wide eye. He's looking warlike, and I can't tell. He's clothed with something, but you can hardly tell. Probably a uniform of some sort, camouflage. And he has a head of hair. Do llamas have different color head hair than their bodies? I don't see a lot of llamas. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I know that some of them, it depends.
Now I know in the movie Napoleon Dynamite, which I love watching with my kids, totally safe for kids with a good sense of humor to watch it with kids. They have a llama that Napoleon Dynamite feeds. His name's Tina, and she's fat. She's a fat lard, is what he calls her. It's funny. That's kind of bonus segment brought to you by Frank.
Good job, Frank.
So I agree with Matt. This beer is excellent, very refreshing. And the weird thing about this, I forgot to mention one thing. $1 per case of this beer goes to Mediviver. I don't know what that is, but there's a ribbon here, so it's some sort of charity.
It's human trafficking. I just looked up human trafficking.
All right, Thanks for looking that up. Survivors of, or the prevention of?
To enable it. It's a metastasized breast cancer awareness.
Thanks for looking that up. So it's not human trafficking. It's metastasized breast cancer awareness. And this can was designed by Tom Ryan's Studio. Got 2 first names. If you want to know more about the artist, go to tomryansstudio.com. That's 2 S's, Ryan's Studio. All right. I agree this beer is very refreshing. And the interesting thing about how refreshing it is that usually a beer that has this tartness to it, which is the only way to describe this beer, not sweet, not sour, but tart. It usually coats your tongue with a thick sugar, and it makes it not refreshing. It just kind of makes you more thirsty, or like you want to wash it down with a drink of water or a Busch Light or something. This doesn't. This is very light. It doesn't sit for too long, but that tartness sticks around. I'm not sure what flavor green is, but if I had to guess, it's this flavor. This is what green should taste like. There's a couple other green generic things. Man, I can't remember that that pop. I was trying to remember what it was called. They sell it a lot in Chicago, probably Wisconsin too. It's a green soda, but that has a similar kind of tart flavor to it, like this, but that's way more carbonated. This is not as carbonated, almost not at all. It's a juice. It's pretty much a juice with just a hint of carbonation, barely there.
Yep.
5% alcohol, can't taste a bit of it. Very good beer. Electrolytes must be doing something good in this beer. It is definitely a good. What would I want better? I hate to do it, but I'm at a 4.5 as well. I don't hate to do it. That's what this beer is. I'm at a 4.5 as well. The only thing I think that would do this beer better is keep going on the tartness. Make it a war. That's the thing. It's a war. It's just like the Warheads. It could be more tart. So 4.5.
Have you had that one yet?
I did. I thought it was not sour.
You had the watermelon one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the least sour out of the ones I've had so far.
Yeah. So I was a little like, oh man, I was expecting to get blown away by this beer. Eventually, we will.
Yeah.
I want one that's like, oh man, I can't. Like, I want to fear the next sip.
It's like the spicy beers. They've done it. They've done crime and punishment. They've done, do that with sourness for sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's that beer. The next beer is nowhere in particular. The aforementioned nowhere in particular. The Juice Down Under. I'll tell you why I bought this beer after we crack it. 3, 2, 1. All right. I have personally not had, and I know on the podcast we have not had, and I'm trying to find beers in a style that we haven't explored yet. I've not had Australian style IPAs. This is an Australian style double IPA. And so that's why I bought it. I wanted to explore something new. And hopefully it is. Well, it has a little newness to it. Nowhere in particular, of course, being out of Kettering, we'll just call it Dayton. I think everything around here we can call it Dayton. They opened in March of 2020, a brick and mortar, but prior to that, we had them. I think we had them on the second or third episode. We had their orange creamsicle, which got at least 2 5s, I think. The gentleman who is, I think his name's Pat actually, who is the head brewmaster there. He was a hobo brewer, taking up real estate at different breweries. Go ahead.
Gypsy brewer.
Gypsy. But the logo was a hobo. That's right. The logo is a skeleton hobo. He's got one of those. What's the sack called? The knapsack on the stick?
Bindle.
Bindle. Yeah. Oh man. When we got our dog Bella, she had a weird name, like Bindi or something like that. That reminds me of that.
Bindi's a very well. That's the crocodile hunter's daughter is Bindi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there was 1 5 and 1 4.5 with the. Okay. It was episode 3 on the orange creamsicle. That's the first episode that we went to 2 beers.
Oh, we went quick to 2 beers. Good. I thought we waited a while.
No, I think that was a special one because then we were singles all the way all the way up to 10.
10. Good episode to switch it up. So this is 9% alcohol, and it's Australian Dippa.
The immediate thing I get out of this, and I'm gonna put it to Australian geography. This is as dry as I perceive the Outback. There is nothing. You keep drinking this beer to wet your palate because it's like if you just drop a glass of water onto the sand, it's going to be wet for like a second and then it's gone. That's not off-putting though.
I agree.
That's where the uniqueness is for me. Australian, I would have I've probably said this. I don't think I've heard of Topaz hops. I just looked.
I'll tell you what they are.
You're going to tell me what Topaz hops are?
Yeah.
They're hops.
I have I now have, well, yeah, I now have a pretty comprehensive list of all the hops.
You son of a bitch.
Topaz Hops is a hybrid that was created by Hop Products Australia in 1985 to be primarily used as a bittering hop.
That would explain Australia.
Yeah. I won't read the whole thing. There's a lot there. Give them a try. That's what it
is
says.
it really is it
if
really
you like
high
Sam Adams Tasman Red IPA. That's an example.
Is it really high in alpha acids? Does it just like say where the flavor
What's
profile
high?
is?
What's high?
I don't know the score typically.
Well, go ahead.
Like if it's got like a graduated like list to it or whatever, because the dryness or whatever, this is, if you like Niepas, this is not your beer. Like if you like IPAs or whatever and like exploring and you're running the gamut or whatever, but like we looked at that graph about a half hour ago, Niepas are on the rise and slowly taking over. This would not be, this would not represent that well. This is less citrusy than what a whippa would be, like a traditional whippa that you're looking at. This is super dry. It's almost got like a Brett finish to it without having like that spiciness.
So while you're drinking, the alpha acids on this, I do have that in this comprehensive list I have. It's 13.7 to 17.7%. And so to give you a I guess a comparison, let's find another hop that we're aware of.
Citra.
Oh, gotta control F this because it's way at the top.
Yeah, this is one of the more. Oh yeah, so you said 15 to 17?
Yeah.
This is higher up there. So like
okay.
the highest alpha acids are right around like 20% of the amalgamation of what brings the hops. So there's a couple that are at the 20 level, then it dies off, precipitously, but like for an average 15 to 17, and again, not every hop is going to be the same. That's why it's but they're all hybrid hops. There hardly any one that you'd just find out in the wild, so to speak. But yeah, this is very, very high for like a bittering hop.
Yeah. Okay. And apparently the Galaxy hops are also Australian. I didn't know that.
I swear we've had Galaxy hops.
Yeah, we've had them for sure.
I'm looking at Beer Maverick right now. So anyways, I like this. Now, this is, man, I could do 2, but that's it. Like that's because I'm going to need something else it would have been interesting had, because we thought that the electrolyte beer was going to ruin our palate. This is a palate wrecker right here. This is almost like hop candy. Like how much like that bittering note is left on my palate, even 30, 45 seconds into a diatribe talking about the beer. I'm wondering if like you liquefied or candied the hops that go into this, like how more potent they would be than the run of the mill hops. This is a good beer, but this is not an entry level IPA by any means.
Yeah.
Wow. Both of these have been good in their own way. Off the top rope, I'm going to give this a 4.25. I like what it's doing. It's the best Australian IPA I've ever had. And that says a lot.
I'll say the same. It's also the best Australian IPA I've ever had.
You got to write down your comments. You're always riding my coattails.
Yeah, you're right. Not on this one though. All right. This is Can of Burn segment brought to you by Frank. Thanks, Frank. Nowhere in particular has a lot of the same can art, similar to how Branch and Bone does theirs, which to the outside Dayton listener, you're not going to really understand that reference, but they do this kind of foil, just repetitive pattern, and that's what Nowhere in Particular does. And then they have some sort of symbol usually for each beer. They put the name and the brewery and all that stuff at the bottom. It's just all their cans are pretty similar. That's the alternative to whether or not, how am I seeing myself? We talk about this, some brewers do white cans, some brewers do insane can art, some brewers do black cans, and however you can get seen. Some brewers just do uniformity across the board. And that's what Nowhere in Particular, Branch and Bone, they kind of do. And that's what this is. So that can art is pretty uniform for all their beers. That's Can Art Bar segment brought to you by Frank. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
The Juice Down Under, Australian DIPA. I agree about the dryness. This beer is dry as hell. And you keep going back to it to try to, like Matt said, get some relief from that dryness.
Relief's a good word. And again, so Topaz, the max 20, so right at the top, and then the average is right at 17. So okay. I mean, you're top 5 for a dual purpose. So that's aroma and bittering. Crazy.
Yeah.
I like having these like amped up. So, you know, like you want the most sour beer, we're pretty close to the most bitter beer.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. So I'm okay with the bitterness. Personally, the dryness, I don't know how. I'd have to go back and look at all the beers that I've rated, how they work in my scores relative to how I felt they were wet versus dry. But I'm not a huge dry IPA fan. Matt said 2. I'm probably at 1 here. I can drink one of these, and I need to move on. It's just it runs its course, but I'm glad that it does. I'm glad that I have it. Now I will compliment. No, yeah, you got something to say?
No. It's just blank on my camera, so I'm just making sure that it's still up.
Okay, I can see. Nowhere in Particular. They're flexing. This is just my opinion, not in a way that's showboaty, in a way that says we're gonna make beers that make you laugh. Probably, let's say 60% of the time, but 40% of the time, we're gonna make beers that you're just like, holy shit, these guys know what they're doing.
Right.
Because I think if you're too much on one side, like the joking side, people just think you're kind of a gimmick brewer, but they're not. They know what they're doing. They know how to make beer, and this shows that they know how to make classic craft beer. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I guess I think about some of these craft beers in the context of, like we talk about, how many can you have in one sitting? How many beers do I have in one sitting? If I'm going to have one single beer, I'm not going to make it this beer. If I'm having 2 beers,
it's very apt.
This beer would definitely be okay to have, because there will be something else either before or after it, like there was today. But it's bitter, it's dry. I do like it, but I don't like it in the range Matt likes it. I like it at a 3.75, and that is excluding what I do believe is a talented brewer, and this beer is well made. I just don't like it. That's just it. I just don't like it enough to put it over 4.
You have the home run comment. If you're going to have one beer, it's hardly ever going to be this beer. Yeah. Like if I come home on a random work night and I'm not drinking much, if I have this one beer, I'm going to leave disappointed.
Yeah, I agree.
But I still gave it a 4.25 because I like what it does, but have we ever said that about a beer? This can't be your only beer.
This can't be your only beer. I think we've said it without saying it.
Yeah.
And I think I just finally figured out how to say it.
a good beer. It's not a bad beer. Both of us say it's a good beer, but this can't be. This has got to be with something, and it doesn't have to be with an IPA or something.
Yeah.
Don't make this your only one. Otherwise, that score, like if we drank this without the electrolyte beer, might be different.
It might be, and this will be. I still have a little bit of Busch Light left, but if I didn't, and I wasn't going to finish that, this will sit on my tongue, and I'll think about it. And I'll probably think, oh, I don't want this anymore. I need to do something to fix my palate. So I will say I have created a game. I know you have a hard stop. We have 7 minutes. So we could either try to blow through this game really quick, or I could just save it. Either
we should save it, and we should just sit here and BS a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's BS.
Because it's been, so you had COVID.
I had COVID. Didn't think I'd get it.
You put that out there. Did you lose all drive to have a beer? Were you like?
I lost all drive to do anything at all.
So it really affected you.
The one thing I don't think people talk about with COVID is how exhausted you get. Do they talk about, is that something you're familiar with?
Yeah, people will say like lethargy or just, you just like you were talking about, laying down. You never made your way or had the drive to go out to the Carriage House bar.
Yeah.
And do nothing, nothing.
Like last Tuesday was the height of my symptoms. If this was a bell curve. Yeah. It was the top. And I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I was able to fire off an email to my boss, a text to you, I believe. Did I text you? I don't even remember how I communicated to you that I wasn't going to be. You messaged
me Monday night. I messaged you Tuesday morning, really, and I didn't hear from you. And it wasn't until that Stacy contacted you that I knew that you were still with us.
I tell my wife, I don't remember almost anything from Tuesday. Yeah. Because my kids came in. Whatever happened, I woke up, I woke my kids up, and I went back to bed, emailed my boss, and I don't remember anything after that, which includes, how did my kids get to school? Oh, wow. I have no idea because, I did fire off a message to my mother-in-law who lives close now. And I said, I'm sick, cannot take the kids. Please pick up my oldest and take him to school. Well, because I told her the previous night I was taking him to school, she wasn't awake. So he walked to school that day. But I don't even remember them leaving. That's crazy. How lethargic I was. And then for, I'd say 6 days in a row, if I walked up half a flight of stairs, I was ready to take a nap.
Spent.
Just totally spent, like as if I worked out and had been awake for 3 days. It was crazy. COVID's nuts.
So if Tuesday you were at 10%, what percentage would you put yourself at today? So a week later, we record on Tuesdays. So
I'd put myself at 97%.
Okay, so
there's some lingering, but I'm almost fully recovered. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think I'd get it. I'm fully vaccinated for all those wondering. And didn't think if I did get it, I wouldn't have symptoms. Man, did I have symptoms. It kicked my ass.
And healthy male, like no.
As far as I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Could probably lose a few pounds, but I'm healthy otherwise. Yeah.
Right. Did this help you lose a few pounds?
I believe it did. I haven't weighed myself, but yeah.
There you go.
What did it was the taste, because it's like the flu in your exhaustion, and you do have fever dreams when you have a fever. But I didn't, I lost my sense of taste and smell. So I was just not motivated to eat or drink anything delicious. So that's what did it. Otherwise, your appetite's fully there.
Just give me chicken broth.
Like when you have the flu, give me chicken broth. But with COVID, you actually do want to eat real food. You just can't taste it, which sucks. It would be weird to drink a beer like this with the COVID taste thing, because this beer is pungent. It's strong.
Yeah, now being done with it, it still is just on the bitterness is just still on my palate.
I feel like I need to brush my teeth. It's like on my teeth.
It's amazing how my camera just like keeps like showing that.
Yeah, it's like refreshing.
It in and out. Yeah,
it's showing that on my end too.
I've been wanting to upgrade my camera, so I'm just hoping that it bucks the kick it. And this is only a couple years old, but it was like right at the beginning of everything, and I knew I just needed a camera like the next day, and this one was available. I'm going to probably be going with the Logitech 920 here shortly, but
Logitech 920.
Anyways,
I do want to publicly say thanks to your wife for sticking with Gatorade.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's.
She was there for some pretty vital conversations, so it was good.
And that's why she's my rock, is because she understands all of that stuff. So yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up unless you said something, but yeah, no, it goes without. We're like Superman. Sometimes you just gotta ring the phone call, and otherwise we're just gonna kind of like stay back a little bit.
Oh no, I mean, a lot of people say if you need anything, let me know, and I appreciate that to everyone who said if you need anything, let me know. But in your wife's case, I knew that when she said, "Can I go?" it wasn't like "Hey, do you need anything?" It was like, "I'm gonna go."
Right. I'm just trying to
say don't go, and there was, and so there was the night before she actually did wind up going. She was gonna go.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I texted Gatorade. She was like, no, please, I can't handle another visitor. And but then she went the next day and actually wound up being there for some important information. So that was good.
Yeah, she's like my mom in the respect that she's we're just at that point in life where she's translating a lot of important medical stuff.
Yeah.
Across different generations.
Okay.
So with her papa and stuff like that, and like with my mom. With my great grandparents, worked in the home that my great grandparents were in, and was able to translate everything to like all the kids or her parents in that generation. So it's just important to have those connections and puzzle pieces in life sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And so I want to thank Stace, or Stacy, as she's known commonly.
Don't worry, she'll listen. She's only 142 episodes behind.
She'll get to this episode in 2034. Yeah. But I also do want to say Stev has reached out at least let's say 12 times and asked if he could bring me anything. I appreciate that. So when a
chef says that, you got to take him up on the chef.
God, I totally forgot about the chef aspect of Stev's life. I should have said, I think of him as a banker now. He's a successful, rich banker.
Yeah, take care of my money.
Hey, could you look at my 401k and see if I'm making any mistakes? That would help me with COVID.
Yeah.
But he dropped off some coffee actually from Winans that the name of the coffee is Carriage House. Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Official name of JT's bar. So thanks to everyone who reached out. Everyone gets COVID, apparently. So I'm not special. But when I had it, I had a lot of good friends who reached out. So I appreciate all that.
That's what's important.
And to you, Matt, you also sent the same sentiment that you would like to help if you can. But
I said I just wanted to talk, and I never, we have to record all of our conversations. I was like, hey, if you ever just need to talk, and then you went radio silent. It's the longest you've ever gone to responding to a text message. You didn't say anything for 13 minutes. I was like, what is this guy? Is this guy pooping or poop in the shower? Like it was a combination. But it took you 13 minutes.
What do they call that?
Waffle stomping. I was like, he's just sitting there like, and then you respond 13 minutes later. You were giving me stock tips or something like that. But
I don't remember what I did.
Least I could do. I was pretty much worthless. But that's just my theme for life.
Much of last week is a blur. If you get COVID, I hope you don't get the symptoms. That's my sincere hope for everyone out there. That's it. I have a game, but we'll play it later.
We're gonna put a push pin in that. We're gonna give that the time. We had a lot of news at the front.
Yeah.
So there will be other weeks where we don't have any news.
There will be many weeks I don't have news. But this week I came prepared. All right, I think that's it. Episode 169.
169.
Horse for 69.
Horse driver.
Horse driver.
Horse driver.
I love that name. That's a great name. And whatever the thing is that the horse wears in its mouth. What is
the
it called
bit.
again? The bit. That's a lame name.
Yeah. Grew up on a farm.
Horse driver. You heard it here first. This is the Joe Rogan Podcast. Bye.